Hi Virgo, here is a general look at your solar chart for July 2015, and it looks quite matey, sociable. The sun is in a very sociable area like it always is at this time of the year, and it's a very forward moving feeling as well, like things that you waited to do, you're now moving forward with that. So getting involved in kind of group gatherings is more likely, or if not that, then hanging out with friends in a social sort of context, or indeed just more interaction with friends, or maybe it's associates, because you're all interested in doing something together. It could be something like that, but it's got this real feeling of something I've waited for is now, I feel as though I'm pushing forwards with that. It might be that others are pushing forward with it and you're just kind of on board with it. Mars is in a very future-orientated, sociable area of your chart along with the Sun, and you'll tend to be the initiator with projects. You could be in a leadership role there, or kind of sort of like volunteered against your will, if you like. Or but maybe it isn't like that, but it can be. Because Mars is a very, it's an energy which likes to get busy, be decisive, take action, initiate things. So maybe you are just the one that others come to ask the questions. But it can be the other way around as well. It can be that this sort of interchange is very dynamic and proactive. So yes, a progressive phase. It can be more technology orientated also, because this is a very scientific area. This is the area of advancement in various ways. So that can be through equipment. You know, it can also be through spirituality and the like. And business, but it's definitely time to get the ball rolling, I would say. Now, up until the 9th, discussions, correspondence, and ideas may revolve around, you know, your place in the world, your image, and anything connected to that. Also, authority figures or parents, teachers, or you as the authority figure, parent or teacher as well. But definitely the energy has been since June around the career point there with Mercury. So you thinking about the goals, or something professional. You keeping your eyes peeled and your ear to the ground, maybe there, and putting more mental effort into what is the best way I can go about this to get the result I desire. And then between the 9th and the 24th, which is the lion's share of the month, Mercury, your ruling planet, is in this area of groups, chewing the fat with others, you know, meeting up with others, comparing notes, bouncing ideas around, and others could find that you are articulate, and you are in quite an experimental mood as well, and maybe you are inspired because you start to think along very, very different lines. Now, having said all that, we do also have Venus and Jupiter in a very background, very introspective area of your chart, apart from July the 19th to August the 1st, when Venus comes into your sign, and that is a uber sociable time there, and a time when maybe you really do feel about like really meeting the world you're just more in the mood. Now, I've just finished saying that you're going to be meeting the world anyway, but with Venus in the background in the sign before Leo, apart from between the 19th of July and the 1st of August, there's probably more going on within you. There's probably old stuff coming up for you. There's probably this feeling of, okay, I want to get this, I want to draw a line under this now. So there will be the tying up of loose ends, the bringing it all together. And maybe you are working on a project in the background which is quite close to your heart, or secret, or not many people know about it, particularly with the position of Saturn now having gone back into Scorpio. And this again is to do with the past. It's to do with you know, your personal history, but it's also to do with your patterns, your emotional patterns, and how you've been scripted, how you've been taught, educated, to have a perspective on the world, and that again is undergoing maybe these improvements, shall we say, as you are just trying to pull all the threads together and synthesize, because your sign is about synthesis. It's sometimes your sign has been known to take something apart just to see how it works, even though it wasn't broken in the first place, but then to enjoy that process and then to put it all back together again. So you can sift through details in a superbly competent sort of a way, because you do have the patience for it. So you have this in whichever area of life, but you do have this thing going on where you have to be very careful at the moment that you're not projecting your inner world or things to do with your past or people from your past onto the world of your present and the people in your present, and reacting to them in that, getting into that same old karmic kind of interaction with them, even though they weren't the original cause or indeed the original consequence either. So just be aware of that, because there's a lot to do with your subconscious going on at the moment. But yes, Mercury is in an area where you can do well kind of putting things on the table and listening and really taking in what others have to say, but also others listening to you. And then Venus coming into your sign as well on the in that about 2 weeks there between the 19th and August the 1st. And there you can find more balance. You can iron out any maybe problems or glitches more easily with Venus in your sign. And then the Sun moves on the 23rd and puts the solar energies into the area behind the scenes. Again, there's even more emphasis on going on there, because then the Sun and Jupiter and Venus, for some of it, are all going to be, and Mercury actually moves into the background area, this introspective area, more open to emotional energies or subtle energies or spiritual energies. You could be a little preoccupied, you could be zoning out sometimes, and or feeling mentally 6s and 7s, not quite knowing how the cookie's going to crumble, or how you haven't got the information that you need. And because you've got such emphasis on that area, plus the position of Saturn, I'm going to say that you need to deliberately be more boundaried. You need to say, okay, I'm going to employ my on-off switch here. I'm just not going to just kind of drift in and out, kind of half awake, or maybe it's not like that at all. Maybe you got to have more structure. You've got to deliberately say to yourself, okay, I need this structuring going on, because there's a lot of potential in this for you to use your imagination, or for you to be using your artistic ability or your healing ability or spiritual ability, but you must not just let, because you're more easily influenced, you mustn't let just any old thing come in and influence your auric field and your energy centers. So just be aware of that. But this is a good time to take a step back, to go in for practices which are healing and nurturing, like yoga and qigong and EFT and acupuncture, if you want, treatments and things like that, but also be more structured as well, because the energies aren't really going to be pointing in that direction. They're going to be pointing in the direction of a kind of it's a diffuse energy without any particular fences around it, you see, which on the one hand is good, but on the other hand we live in this kind of finite sort of, well, actually it's not, it's infinite, but kind of finite sort of perspective of this world, and in order to be able to apply things successfully, ideas, dreams, visions, hopes, anything, we need to work through a structure. and a kind of schedule. Now, Saturn has gone back into this area to do with maybe developing yourself through speaking, writing, and creative self-expression, etc. It's tying up loose ends from the past, particularly because it's so recently been in Sagittarius, but it's gone back into Scorpio. So that means that maybe that would be a good thing for you to be doing, because writing is a structure, or setting things down, recording things is a structure, archiving is a structure, and maybe just keeping a record, keep journaling, that kind of thing. So that may be the way, or maybe there's another way that you've thought of which is better. But Saturn will be challenging you until September at least to maybe, you're not feeling so stuck in what used to be the good old days, but now you get an energy which allows you to externalize what you've been feeling very, very much inside of yourself. Communications equipment or vehicles might pose problems at times because of the Saturn being in that area there. And you could find that you are integrating a new knowledge, so this is a good time to learn something new, step by step though, slowly into, you're just integrating it, you're just taking it in like a sponge, but you need to, again, this idea of like the structure, so step by step you're integrating this new knowledge, and indeed you could be the one that's sharing your knowledge, but trying to find some sort of structured way in which to do that. And you are also becoming more aware that what you maybe previously called the truth, or others have called the truth, is no more than a perception, because there are many, 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 many truths. Everybody's got a little piece of the elephant. So in other words, during this time of Saturn, you become more aware maybe of your own biases and maybe your own critical side as well. You Virgos born the 20th to the 23rd of September, or with from 27 degrees rising, are to feel that energy the most. Jupiter is in the background area, having you tying up loose ends, etc., etc., but also shooting yourself in the foot because you make an inappropriate emotional reaction, or you can't change an old emotional reaction, or an old habit, or an old way of doing something, or an old belief. And in general, this is your opportunity to heal the wounds to do with the past. Because if you do that now on your timeline, that is going to help all others that you have, who's crossed paths with you right from when you were born and beyond, even before then, to heal their past as well, and maybe their future, because the more we do on whatever piece of the timeline in our present is going to affect the future as well as the past. This is what I found anyway, and that is my perception and my truth, and really I ought to activate it more than I do. You Virgos born the 13th to the 22nd of September, with 20 to 29 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most. And then finally Neptune. Neptune is going through your opposite sign, and you may feel that you're the prop that others lean on more, which is okay because your sign is kind of a little bit that way inclined anyway. But on the other hand, you may put somebody on a pedestal and not realize that you are letting them trample all over your boundaries. And this might be somebody that you deem to be the good guys. So that can be angels, that can be, anybody or anything that you've held in high esteem, because we live in this limited dimension. You maybe need to in a general sense, I'm saying this, right? You need to put your own desire and plan first, even though you have to find a way